Did you guess which thing is not like the other things? Did you guess with all your might? If you guessed that this thing is not like the other things, you know what? You're right. Oh, you're absolutely right. You're so smart.
Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Will the real Steppenwolf please stand up? Please stand up.
Zack Snyder gave us a little bit of a gift on Saturday, showing us the new, or OG, Steppenwolf design. Once again, we are going back again. Steppy's back. Tell a friend. In Snyder's photo that he dropped on Vero, he says, just working today, pulled this out of the editorial. Sorry he's low resolution, but I've seen him in all his high-res glory, and he's a thing to behold. Quick question, how many fucks do you think he gives?
Well, I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker.
In apparently low resolution form, Snyder shared the original Steppenwolf design that we saw in Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition. That's the design that I think most of us thought he would go back to. There was that previs design that had kind of more horns than like a helmet. And so there was kind of some confusion whether that was going to be the Steppenwolf design or it was going to look more like BVS. And of course, throughout the years, there's been a lot of concept art dropped on Steppenwolf and all his many designs between spikes, no spikes, but now we got the official design in apparently low resolution, which I find hilarious because I still think he looks better than what we got in theaters. Crazy how that works. Even a low resolution Snyder shot looks better than anything that WB could try to force out.
Yeah, I'm much more of a fan of the original BVS design. There was, as Matt mentioned, that weird kind of previs thing that had the boomerang looking head, and I wasn't a huge fan of that, so I'm glad he's going back and kind of keeping with the continuity of BVS and using that specific design. I'm also kind of curious, as we have seen all the different iterations, the concept art that came out with Steppenwolf, where the origin of this specific Steppenwolf comes from, what the idea was behind this Steppenwolf, because if you've seen in the comics, he actually unfortunately fits a lot closer to what we got in Justice League, where he has some human elements to him. However, this version to me looks so awesome, so intimidating. It's gonna be epic.
And also even the axe that he's using looks different as well. Even you could just tell from the handle, bigger, more menacing. You know how those previous shots that we've seen, some of that leaked stuff said property of Warner Brothers? This one nicely says property of HBO Max.
Yes. Oh yeah, can you feel that, buddy?
And I think no better way to summarize it than from Darkseid Ray Porter himself, where he tweets out a 30-second video and a low-res still, already better than the entirety of that quote-unquote other version. F the trolls, this is gonna be epic.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck yeah.
So, of course, with most Snyder drops on Vero, he gets some questions in the comments. He answers some of the questions in the comments. Something that just is intriguing to see is that when people are asking him about Fandom and what we're gonna see there, the excitement through his text, just these little texts on Vero, I can feel it. I can truly feel it deep inside me. One of his responses to a Fandom question is, I think the piece we did for Fandom, it's gonna blow your mind.
Another one says, boss, at Zack Snyder, can you give us a tease of what to expect at Fandom? And a simplistic response, it's just something beautiful.
There were some questions in my mind whether or not, how much would he really be passionate about doing this again? But you can see now with the liberties that HBO Max is giving him, he's got carte blanche now. This is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think the passion has been reinvigorated with these characters, and just seeing some of these things that he's saying about Fandom and the Fandom trailer that we're gonna get, I cannot wait.
Another actually a little bit more creative question says, will Zack Snyder's Justice League be bloody at Zack Snyder? And he replies, just the right amount.
Just like our porridge, just the right amount. Interesting phrase, because I remember when he was asked whether or not it would be PG-13 or R, he actually kind of made a statement, well, you know, PG-13 is tough for him. And the fact that he says there's going to be blood in this, blood in PG-13 movies are rare. Just the right amount tells me that it's going to be more than what a PG-13 can allow. Again, I think this is going to be a series, and what's going to happen is it's going to be rated TV MA, which is going to give it at least some freedom of motion to what it can show and say. Now, when it actually gets released as a movie, I have a feeling it's going to be rated R. Whenever it gets dropped on the Blu-ray or HBO Max by the end of the series, then releases it as one long movie, it's going to be rated R.
Yeah, it seems like the original idea behind this movie is that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to push the envelope a little bit, and unfortunately he had to compromise with Warner Brothers on where they were gonna go. I think that's why we got maybe a different version of Steppenwolf in the previs, which is kind of odd because that one's a little bit more crazy looking. It begs the question, what is just the right amount to Zack Snyder of blood? I'm curious to see, but also super stoked.
Seeing Snyder with his carte blanche approach to this, obviously property of HBO Max, right? Zack Snyder's Justice League. You see the evolution of his Justice League. We have seen Black Suit, we've seen young Darkseid in the history lesson, and now we see the updated Steppenwolf form. And it's kind of funny because when SnyderCon came out and he said he wasn't able to film his original script, I remember people from Collider saying because he wasn't able to film his original script, this is proof that there's no Snyder Cut.
When this movie came out, understand that Chris Terrio and I had finished the script to Justice League before BVS came out. Right. Some people didn't like the movie, a vocal minority. So they said, there's a lot of stuff we don't want you to do. So we did the rewrite of the script. So the original Justice League script, we didn't even shoot. The really scary version, because we were really nervous after the response of BVS.
Which just shows the hundreds of thousands of people who are demanding the Snyder Cut. It doesn't exist.
With people from like Jody's Corner seeing all these changes that he's doing, they're bitching and moaning about, see, there was no Snyder Cut, he's just making things up now.
You need to shut the fuck up on this one. Seriously.
That's where you can tell how disconnected some of these people are. They claim to have an understanding of what goes on behind the scenes, and they have their own theories, as do we. However, you can clearly see that now he has the opportunity to deliver what he wants, what he wanted from the very beginning, the uncompromised version. And the fact that people are trying to use that as an example of, see, it never existed to begin with, is just asinine to me. How people cannot understand the history of Zack Snyder's Justice League, the version that he had, what got chopped to bits and thrown out in theaters, and now what we are going to get, they are all completely different things. And the fact that, again, as Matt mentioned, he has carte blanche, he's going back and saying, now that I have the opportunity to have a non-compromised version, that's what I'm going to do. That does not mean that there wasn't a compromised version ready to be released at some point. Shit, it's not that hard to understand.
Whether it's ignorance or just stubbornness, clearly people don't understand the evolution of Justice League. What happened before BVS, what happened post BVS, what happened during principal photography, what happened after principal photography, and then what happened in the reshoots, and what's happening now. It's all different Justice League movies on script, in storyboard, and being filmed. And the fact that people are willingly just kind of ignoring that or fading ignorance in this case, it just shows how much their bias and their nature towards this situation. They just don't want to admit that this guy was completely fucked over and they can't be wrong. Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out and they have to find some way to knock it down a peg. And speaking of Zack Snyder's Justice League, let's talk about a name. What's in a name? As some people would say that are much smarter than me. Obviously, he talked about in Justice Con that it wasn't exactly official yet that it was going to be called Zack Snyder's Justice League.
The name of the movie, as Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's the name that, you know, it is the name we all want. It is the name we are working on. It's legal reasons that restrict it.
So what would it be called? And some people are talking about it doesn't matter what it's called, I'm going to watch it either way. Well, that's good for you. And there's some people that were saying that no, Zack Snyder's name needs to be on this. It needs to be part of this. And what I would say is that at this point, there's no room for really discussion. Zack Snyder's name needs to be in some way on the title. Justice League, the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League, however you look at it, his name needs to be on it. What I think some people fail to realize, at this point, Snyder's name is synonymous with Justice League. And to separate the two would just be terrible marketing at this point. Not only have you put out merch that fans have bought, which could just be fan service, but there is merch with Zack Snyder's Justice League on it. The fact that HBO announced it with the title sequence of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then Snyder puts out a teaser ending with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then you have very high profile celebrities like Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson using the actual title of Zack Snyder's Justice League in their tweets. Ryan Reynolds has 16.3 million followers. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has 14.7 million followers, and they just used Zack Snyder's Justice League in their tweets. That's huge. Snyder Cut / Zack Snyder's Justice League has become part of the zeitgeist. This is what happens when it becomes mainstream. Not only is there algorithms and SEOs that need to be fed with that, to change it into something else at this point would just be terrible marketing. Snyder's name and Justice League are synonymous with each other. That is the zeitgeist. His name has to be attached to it in some way or manner.
My wife, spin the block. We shoot this shit like the Snyder Cut. Try your luck. I amateur. Come to your casket.
They formed this team in kind of a reluctant family, which I guess what I'm trying to say is this is the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut.
Is it the Snyder Cut?
Be the Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut.
Normally, I would agree with the latter between, oh, I'm just gonna watch it anyways, it doesn't matter what it's titled, and we should have it as Zack Snyder's Justice League. But in this case, yes, the marketing is incredibly important. Whether the haters want to admit it or not, Zack Snyder's name is not only synonymous with this universe that's being built, but he is a known director. When you mention Zack Snyder, people can draw with 300. Oh, that's the guy who did Watchmen. Oh, I'm familiar that he did Batman vs Superman. That's where including his name becomes important with Zack Snyder's Justice League, because that needs to be the selling point. When the studios were teasing movies such as Sucker Punch or Legend of the Guardians or even Man of Steel, they said from visionary director Zack Snyder or something along those lines. They're using Zack Snyder's name. It's not just, oh, here's gonna be a Superman movie or here's gonna be a movie with owls. No, they use Zack Snyder because they know that he has a following and people know who he is. That's why it's important that we use Zack Snyder's Justice League and we completely separate from that other abomination that came out several years ago.
They're not gonna buy an HBO Max subscription to watch a movie by Zack Snyder either way, if his name is attached to it or not. So his name attached to it at this point just becomes branding. And this is when you're trying to build a brand and you have made a name or a logo or something to that effect synonymous with the movie, you keep it going like that. To change it at this point would just be a huge misstep. But I think we got confirmation from those Vero questions. Somebody asked Snyder saying, Zack Snyder, we all want the title to be Zack Snyder's Justice League. Is it happening? And he just flat out answers the gentleman, yes.
Jordan fades back. Swoosh. And that's the game.
All right, that'll end it there for our little episode talking about all the updates we got recently about Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Some exciting stuff. I cannot wait for Fandom on August 22nd. It's gonna be glorious. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe this video. Click that bell for the notifications so you know when we post these beautiful videos for you to watch and for all of your entertainment. We also have a store with some sweet merchandise in it, and we have, what are you calling it? Alternate universe? No.
Elseworld.
Elseworld. We also just dropped some Elseworld designs with the black and Green Lantern type, Green Lantern coloring. It's epic. The link to our website will be in the description below. Gosh damn.
I just want to say as a quick little note that sorry about the gaps between content. It's just right now Shane and I both have hit a point where, yeah, it's life, that real life shit is like, it's flooding in and taking over a lot more time than usual. So we will keep trying to put out as much content as possible, doing these little videos. We have so many ideas for videos and we just can't quite execute them at this time just because of time and all the other things going on. Hopefully things will lighten up maybe in like a year or two and we'll be able to finally hit that 4,000 subscriber mark in like 2 years.
But as always, we do appreciate your continued support. It means a lot.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See you next year.